Right. So welcome to season 16 of the Finex School. And by the theme of the PowerPoint slide, you know this is the AI edition. If you have been following the AI series and the AI theme, you realize that this is the theme for AI. It's what we do normally, but we just want to add a little layer to make our work easier. So the focus this season is to still do data analytics with Excel and Power BI, but the way we work is changing. So we want to leverage tools like ChatGPT, which you know already, Copilot, which is Microsoft's own version to make it easier of ChatGPT. We want to see how it has made things easier for us to analyze data, research, generate data, do some calculations, even create PowerPoint presentations from scratch, right? So that is our focus this season. Now, before we begin, I think it's important that we introduce Finex Skills Hub to you. So today's session is going to be in 3 sections. The first one is an overview of Finex Skills Hub, and then what we are going to cover this season. Then we'll go into the practical side of what you are committed to learn. Some of you have signed up for data analytics with Excel. You probably don't know all the tools that we use for data analytics in Excel. So we are going to introduce you to that. Some of you have signed up for Power BI. You don't even know the color of Power BI. So we want you to understand what Power BI is and then the process we use to analyze data. Then we'll go through some case studies. So it's not going to be a monologue. If you brought your laptop, get ready to practice. We'll use the case study to expose some of the gaps that we need to fill in. Right. So regarding the table of contents, we'll talk about us, Finex Skills Hub, what we do. We'll talk about our history, our vision, and our mission. Then we'll discuss what's new, the things that we are going to learn, how is Copilot and ChatGPT changing these tools. Then we will meet the team. And then finally, we'll go into the agenda, right? This is an orientation class. Before we start our class, we want to bring everybody to the same level so that once we start day 1, we know that all your questions have been answered. So there'll be a dedicated session for all your questions, and then we'll take time to answer them. Regarding the installation, logistics, how you're going to learn, would I get certificates and all those things, we'll cover it in this session. Are we good? Okay. So about Finex Skills Hub. Finex Skills Hub, we call ourselves a digital skills training hub. What God has called us to do is that the things that are essential in the office that will make us work smart, save time, get promotion, add value to work. You know, these things are not intentionally taught in schools. Right, so we'll go through our 4 years, get our first class, we exit, and when you turn up at the office, it's Excel that you are going to use. It's Power BI that you are going to use. You're supposed to create a presentation, right? So everything that improves the way you work, that is what we have committed ourselves to research and then teach, right? So our mainstay is Microsoft Excel. I mean, we have a lot of leverage in Excel for data analytics, for financial modeling, for Excel for work. That's how we call it, right? We also do business intelligence and data analytics beyond the Excel tool. We also do financial modeling as well. I must say that Finex Skills Hub is the only approved training provider of the Financial Modeling Institute in Canada. We've trained over 30 advanced financial modelers and still counting. We also do low-code app development. So there's app sheets and then there's Power Apps. All these are tools that automate the way we work in the office. So Finex Skills Hub is dedicated to teaching low-code app development as well. Then there's Python. We also do Python coding as well. But the focus this season is that since last year, November 2023, something happened in the world of work. The introduction of generative AI, what we know as ChatGPT, and Microsoft's Copilot, Google's Gemini, there's Cloud, there's Abacus, and all the different versions. Okay, so these tools are what is going to change the way we work, right? And very typical of finance skills are we always try to get ahead of the curve. So if our members or our community get these tools, we think that it's important we teach them that they exist. Okay, so if you are in the finance community and you are not using Microsoft 365 and Copilot, we don't want to leave you behind. So don't worry about that. We'll show you how to catch up because we are in a global world. You can't be using Excel 2007 and 2010 throughout your life. Right. So the focus this season is AI tools for productivity. How does it help us improve the way we work? Adding into data analytics, especially in Excel and Power BI. Right. So that's about us. Now, why Finex? Finex is special in the sense that we try to make our training sessions practical. Right. So it's not just coming and listening in without doing your assignments and capstones. Our old students are here. They will testify that you don't give you a certificate of participation. We give you a certificate that proves that you've earned it. So there will be a mix of assignments, there will be a mix of capstones, okay? We allow you to also continuously learn, right? There are almost 500 alumni in our WhatsApp group. We discuss national issues along data analytics, financial modeling, right? So we ensure that beyond going through that practical hands-on training, we also support you with continuous learning. All our facilitators, you meet them, have gone through certification. So majority are Microsoft certified trainers, advanced financial modelers, office specialists. What they have experienced is what they are passing on to you, right? So our facilitators are certified trainers, you meet them. Now, what is also unique, this we have consciously done, is to always mix our learning community. So every season, there are students, there are workers. Even the workers, there's a mix. It's not only accountants. Last season, we had almost 5 pharmacists in the class. Okay, it's intentionally done so that we can apply the case studies across a wide range of industries. The students also bring their energy. Because they don't pay school fees, they learn at a higher level. So when they come, they challenge the old men to also learn. Isn't that Kwame? Yes, Kwame is an SS graduate. He's come to also challenge us. Last year, we had a 15-year-old from Israel, Ghanaian, who also challenged the older folks to learn, right? So we have a student community, you meet the student community, and we also give scholarships to undergraduates. So every season, we give 5 full scholarships to students to join us to learn. This is intentionally done to make it more exciting. Then we also give you flexible online and in-person schedules. So as I'm streaming this, there are people online who are also listening in. They also get to practice. The playback video will be made available. If for some reason you sign up online and you want to come in person, you're allowed to. If you sign up in person and you want to do online, you're allowed to. It's just to give you more flexibility to move in and out, right? The world of work is changing. Then you also have access to what we call our Google Classroom. We have been using the Google Classroom effectively for the last almost 10 seasons. What is unique about the Google Classroom is that everything we are going to create together, you have access to it for life, right? So your questions, your feedback, your suggestions, as we learn, these are recorded and then they are stored in the classroom with all the resources that you need so that you can have access to them if you want to reference, right? So all those who have committed, you be admitted to a virtual Google Classroom. That is going to be your resource, even after the class. So those are the reasons why we think Finex is going to be useful in your learning journey. Now, let's talk about history. In fact, the first finance class had only 5 students, but by God's grace, we moved to the University of Ghana campus, and the picture you see in black and white was our first class in 2016 at the University of Ghana at the economic department, right? So this was a financial modeling class, and by God's grace, we've moved on since 2016. We've done financial modeling, Excel for work, PowerPoint presentations, Power BI, now going into AI. Why? The reason we are motivated to do this is that we've seen the immense value that these things that we teach has added to our people, those getting promotions, those changing jobs. In fact, I'll mention how our WhatsApp group works. Almost every day, job vacancies are posted. As long as you are prepared, as long as you are proficient, you are in a good place to get on some of these jobs, right? So that is a bit of our history, 2016 up to date. Now, let's talk about our vision. So for Finance Skills Up, our vision is to create an army of digitally savvy students and workers, right? In fact, what we want to do is that if there's anybody in the office doing wonders with some of these tools, the person definitely would have come through Finex, right? So most of you here are coming on referral. It's probably because you have seen what people have done with these tools in the office. That's our vision. We want to create maybe 10,000, maybe 100,000 of students and workers who are adding value, saving time, improving productivity with these tools. And it's not only Excel. Any tool that will help us save time and improve work, we are game. Our mission, as I mentioned, is that we know that what we learn in school and what we do at work, sometimes there's a gap. Finance is fitting in that gap. So our goal is to bridge that skill gap between academia and industry by delivering hands-on training. That's our goal. That's our mission, actually. And for the goals that will help us achieve this mission, every year, by God's grace, we are targeting to train 400 students and workers. You know why this is possible in the subsequent slides. So every year, our targets, in fact, this year, this is our 3rd season. So averagely, we have about 50 people every season. So at least in a year, for our final school, we are training about 200 people. Then there are other communities that we train. So feed our vision, this is our mission, this is our goal every season. Okay. If you just joined us, I'm just introducing Finance Skills Up before we go into the app. Okay, so we just use that period to settle and then we start shortly. Now, our community, why is it possible to train 400 people every year? We have our CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility Projects. It's called Excel Our Girls. What we do is that we sponsor ladies between ages 16 to 25 in data analytics. In fact, we've had 2 seasons already. So the first batch did Excel and Python. The second batch did apps development, no-code app development. So we are looking for sponsors to train more girls. So if you have any idle funds and then you want us to use it to support, maybe create Excel our boys too. You are welcome. So you can support us. Our old student Yvonne has been very pivotal in this project and it's been really successful. So for our pro bono project, Excel Our Girls, that's what we have done in the last 2 seasons. Then there's the SIDA project, Students in Data Analytics project. This is a project we started in 2017 at the University of Ghana Business School. And our goal was to train students in financial modeling and data analytics for free. We started this 17, 18, 19, 20. We ran it for 5 good years. Okay, and God has blessed us with the fruits of this project. A lot of them outside Ghana, in Ghana, are leveraging on these skills they acquired. to push. In fact, 4 or 5 of our facilitators are also products from this project. Now it's smiling at the back. Now it's a proud product from our students in data analytics project. So Dewinga, Daniel, all giving back what they learned when they were in school. Now, we've paused a bit on this project, but what we are doing is that we are now bringing in the students into Finex school. So what we do is every season, we give 5 scholarships for the students to come and learn for free, right? So last season, Deborah and the rest joined us. And then this season, who are joining us? Their names are, I'll give them to you. But there are 5 students who are joining us for our students in data analytics, all just to plant seeds, which we are hopeful will generate fruits in the future. Then this is Finex School, our 3rd community, right? This is our 16th edition. So the Finex School is where our workers come and then we learn what is new, what is trending, right? So this is our 16th edition. So these are the 3 communities in the Finex community. Okay, so what's new this season? There's a point where we take our laptops. I don't know how many of us have heard of Copilot. Those in there. Okay, so online, how many of you have heard or seen Copilot? Right, okay. So how about ChatGPT? That one, it has come to stay. So if you know ChatGPT, it's the same thing, generative AI, but Copilot is like Microsoft's version. Now, the advantage of Copilot is that it's embedded in your regular Office apps. So Excel has Copilot, Word has Copilot, PowerPoint has Copilot, Outlook has Copilot. The idea is that with this AI just by your side, the world of work is not going to be the same. I'm going to pause this presentation and then give you a little demo. In fact, this season, we want everybody to try Copilot to see how it works. So at the tail end of the presentation, I'm going to show you how you are going to sign on. It's possible to sign on for free for 1 month. So if you get the knowledge, and then God willing, if you want to continue, you can continue. But if your company also wants to sponsor you, you can show them why they should sponsor you, right? Now, this is Copilot. So I'm going to open, this is a blank PowerPoint presentation, right? Imagine that your boss, or you are the boss, and then
is it available in all editions of the Office or from a certain date?
Okay, so the question is it available in all editions of Office or from a certain date? This is available on Office 365 and Microsoft 365. In our finance community, all of us almost are on Office 365 and Microsoft 365. Maybe you don't know, but we'll show you how to install it. Office 365 and Microsoft 365 are the current, if you like, software as a service version of the tools that you use. You don't have to, it keeps updating by itself when new features come, right? It's subscription based, so we'll show you how to install that. Now, this is how the world of work is changing. Now, when you open any of these apps, for example, PowerPoint, and then you want to create a presentation, there's a prompt. Have you seen this? So let's create a presentation about, give me a subject. What do you want to create a presentation about? Climate change. So this is climate change, right? You can give them better details. We talk about prompt engineering and all that. So let's do this and then we commit this. Okay, so what this is going to do is it gives you the outline for your presentation, for starters. Are you with me? If you're okay, then you can go ahead and then generate the slides. Okay, so it goes ahead. It's now adding the titles to the slides. It can be any subject. Okay. Now you realize that if you use Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can even let it learn from your organizational files. So if you are a climate change organization, you can even let it focus on existing pictures or reports. Okay, so there's a bit more focus. This one is hitting the web and then bringing whatever it's able to find. Are you with me? So it goes through it applies to the design. Okay, so just like that, my presentation has been created in less than 2 minutes. Now, if you come here, this view is the slide sorter view. I'll come to the normal view. You seen this? So this is the presentation filled with animation and everything that's you get the idea.
You didn't type it.
I didn't type anything. Anyone? This is how work is changing. So if you are in 2024 and your colleague is aware of this, and you are always starting from scratch, in fact, there's a reason you'll get promotion ahead of you. Last week, I was in Kumasi for a forestry meeting. While we were at the airport, there's one lady who is a consultant, and she was talking about how she researches and all those things. And I was like, have you heard of Copilot? I said, no. ChatGPT says, no. Then he said, bring your laptop. I showed this to her, she was screaming. She was so excited because she is now looking at all the efforts she would have put in going to research and all that. Now, the good thing about this is that I didn't type anything. You saw me. I was also speaking. Okay? Okay. Okay, so Madam says we should try another one. So I'm going to start again a new presentation. So the prompt is always on standby. Okay, so let's create a presentation. Now, there are two files. There are two prompts, let me put it that way. About is your topic. From a file is from your existing OneDrive or SharePoint files, right? I'll show you that if you're using it in Microsoft 365, it's living in your files. So it knows your emails, it knows the reports, it knows what is basically unique about your organization. So it's able to tailor something a bit more specific to your need. Is that you with me? So we are creating a presentation about what, madam? What do you want?
Something about finance.
Financial management.
Yeah.
Okay, so I come here and then financial management. Financial risk. So financial risk management. All right, I'll come to you. So we are here. So we talk about prompt engineering. You can be a bit more specific, right? This is very generic, right? So I come here. It has 2,000 character limits. So you can add, make it 10 slides, do it this way. All those things you can add. Okay. So first, it gives you the layout. I haven't typed it in there, right? Then if you're okay, in fact, you can edit it after. I'll show you how to edit, right? Then you just proceed and then you generate the slides. Are you with me?
It's better now.
Okay. So this is where we left off. Financial risk management, right? So again, in less than 2 minutes, this has been done, right? So it always leaves it in the, in PowerPoint presentation, there are views. This is the slide sorter view, so that you can arrange and then go into sections and all that. Now, this is the normal view. So this is a normal view, right? Now, in here, let's say you're not even happy with the slide they gave you. There's another AI-enabled feature called Designer. So if I take a slide and I go to Designer, Designer can now suggest the different layouts of that particular slide. Okay, so you can go through, maybe you want it as a full screen, you can choose that. Are you with me? So the designer and Copilot working together to be able to give you the presentation. And the thing is, it's fluid, it's evolving, right? Next year, I'm sure it will even be better. It will just even work with the voice prompts. That is how the world of work is changing. Now, let me also demo in Excel, or let's even do Word first. So the same thing that we are doing, this is Word, right?
Yes.
It's always greeting you. It's on standby, right? So if I do Alt-I, my prompts field comes. What do we use Word for? For creating reports, right? What report do you want to create? Okay, so create a report on digital marketing, something. Now, I'm saying that you can let this read from your local files, or you can point it to the web. Are you with me? So if I come here and then that's it. Okay, so I would have added maybe 10 pages or 15 pages or something like that, just for a bit more context. Okay, so this is, if you don't pause it, will go on and on and on. Then you can now pause, edit it. You see how it's even put it in sections. Okay, so already your table of contents is already sorted out. Right. In one of our videos, I showed you how you could now translate this word into a PowerPoint presentation. That is also possible. Are you on the same page? So please, the world of work is changing. When Excel started, people were like, but now we are playing catch up. Power BI came, people were still, now it's AI, Copilot. So what we are doing this season is, for those who are going into data analysis, data analytics, how do we leverage these generative AI tools? And we are not limiting ourselves to only Copilot. We are adding ChatGPT, so that even if your people are not ready to buy it, we'll show you how you can use ChatGPT as well. Because when you show up at the office, this is like required. It's almost mandatory if you want to excel. Are we on the same page? Now, if you come to Excel, again, open a fresh Excel workbook. Okay, our focus this season is to use Copilot and ChatGPT to help us analyze data, right? For our old students, you know that there's already a certain science or process to analyzing data. This season, that process has become easier because of these tools. So we'll learn how to use the prompts to optimize your DAX formulas, clean the data, get tips for visualization, everything that you were struggling with. Because even if I throw data at you, what do you even start from? Right? We'll learn about EDA and all those things. Are we on the same page? So we are in Excel. Again, where is Copilot? If it's enabled, it's usually under the Home tab. Okay, so this is here, right? And what Microsoft is doing very well is that it is trying to customize the application. So they are working on Copilot for finance, which is limited to the finance activities. So calculating sales variance and all those things that finance people normally do. Copilot for finance is going to do that. So I'm here. When I click on Copilot, I can ask it to do a lot of stuff, right? So for starters, I can turn on. For now, it requires the file you are working with to be online, like saved in the cloud. So once I save it, I can name it. So this is the file we are going to be working with. If PowerPoint could create a presentation, Word could write a report, what can Excel do? You tell me. If all that you've seen, what do you think Excel can do? right? Now, there are 4 key basic prompts. There are more, I'll show you. It can create formulas. So for all those who are struggling with XLOOKUP and index match, your cry is coming to an end. So right now, formulas are going to be written with prompts, right? It first needs to understand the data. So once you give it the data, you host it in a table, you can now start asking certain questions from the data. Okay, so as an example, first of all, create a 50 record sales data. Ola, is there a question, please? I'll come for your questions. I just want to finish this part first. So please note your questions. I'll come for them. So let's see if it can generate data for us. I haven't tried this, but normally I bring in data from another source. And then, okay, so I was able to do that. So here's an example of a 50 record sales data that you can use. Normally it gives you a preview. Okay, so it's building it up. Okay, so it's still creating, as you can see to my right. Right. When it's done, it will tell me it is done. Then I should be able to insert it in the Excel worksheet. Then go ahead and then start doing my analysis. So whether you create it or you bring it in, it's ready to help you with formulas, understand it, and all those things. So it's done. I'm going ahead to insert this into the worksheets. So this is what I have. Right? So today, part of the orientation, we are going to analyze sample data with Copilot in Excel. Right? Now, if I give it this, there are prompts I can use to analyze it. When we start analyzing data, we start with a one table analysis. So we'll ask you, what insight can you get from here? I have date, I have salesperson, I have region, I have products, units sold, unit price, and total sales, right? Let me ask it to calculate total sales. So I'll come here and I'll go calculate total sales. These are very basic prompts. So on the data, you'll go through it, scan, right? And then it will generate even formula suggestions for me. Now, the formula suggestions, if I'm okay with it, I can insert it as a row, or I can even copy and then put it outside the table. Are you with me? So if I come here, this total row, you see it has nicely placed total row at the bottom of the table. Okay. So right now the learning is actually prompt engineering, not the hard core stuff that we were doing. Right. So yes, by all means, understand formulas. Now, one of the lessons that I think we should know is that you can't use the right prompts if you don't even know the process. And that is why, even if you take the AI tools aside, you are here to learn the process. Because if I give you data, where do you even start from? How do you even model data? What does it mean to do an ETL and all those things? That's what we are going to cover. Okay. So later we'll go into it, but I just took this detour to give you a little insight. So let me go ahead with my presentation and then we'll get into this in detail. Please note your questions, I'll come for them. Okay. Please, is my screen back? Please confirm online. Can you see the full presentation? Okay. Now, let's meet the team. So we have 9 facilitators who are going to help us in this journey. It's not only Bernard, right? Finex is blessed with a lot of sharp brains who have been adding value. So they are specialists in their own rights. Okay, so this is Bernard when I was younger. And you have met Osbert. Osbert is our man in charge of operations and logistics. So this is Mr. Osbert Kuonu. He's in charge of finance at EcoCare. So EcoCare is a forestry organization. Right. Osbert is an advanced financial modeler and an MBA holder as well. Right. So even though he's into operations, he also teaches sometimes when we have to let him teach. Okay, so that is Osbert. You meet him in person. Then this is Ferdinand. He's also called the Excel guy. So he's also backstage, always cooking the dangerous formulas and then supporting us with all the Excel innovations and creativity as well. So Freddy is joining us online, currently in Cote d'Ivoire, but hopefully you'll see him in person soon. So then there's Danilo. So Daniel is a chartered accountant. So Daniel is also the Excel guy. He also specializes in app sheets, low-code app development, right? So in fact, he took the girls through the app sheets project that we did. So that is Daniel. I meet him outside, also very committed to what he does in Excel. So you were asking where the ladies are, or you didn't ask? Okay, so this is Priscilla. So Priscilla is currently a software developer at CBG. She's also an advanced financial modeler. She's an Azure data scientist. So usually in a Power BI class, I do it with Priscilla, right? She brings in the industry part to make things make sense. So that is Priscilla. You meet her later on. Then this is Ernest Abuaje. He's also a chartered management accountant and advanced financial modeler. Until recently was strategy and finance at APSA, but he has jumped to the United States of America, joining us online. So this is a very old picture of Ernest. I'm sure you'll not be excited, but so that is Ernest for you. And then this is Na. Na is with us in the classroom. So those who are in the classroom, that is Na. So Na is a financial modeler and valuation analyst, FMVA certified. Okay, so she's also very good with SQL as well. So she works in sales as a sales analyst at Finex. Yes, so the pharmacy giant in Ghana. Okay, then this is the Winger. So the Winger is also an advanced financial modeler, a Microsoft Office specialist. The Winger is with Ernest in the financial modeling class, right? So he works as a consultant in financial modeling, and then he builds financial dashboards as well. So that is the Winger. You meet him along the line. Then our last baby is Solis. So Solis, until her graduation, was our student rep at the University of Ghana Business School. But she's a big woman. So I have to update her profile. So that is Solis. So it's not only better, just so that you know that there are more people in the team. So in concluding this part of the presentation, the agenda for this orientation is, first, we want to go through the overview of the brochure. You already know what is in the brochure, but maybe there are some things you didn't understand. So we'll go through that. Then we'll go through the modules. When we say data analytics with Excel, what does it mean? When we say data analytics with Power BI, what does it mean? Do I have to download the software? Right? How do I get Copilot? How do I sign up for ChatGPT? All those questions, you are going to answer them today. Okay. Then we'll talk about how we will learn. So if I'm signing up for virtual, I'm signing up for in-person, how would the classes be like? Right? How would I access the resources? Would I get codes and all those things? We'll talk about that. Then we'll have an open session. So I'm sure you have all your questions. Please write them down. We'll give about 20 minutes to answer all your questions. Please, are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. So I'm going to go into the second part of the presentation. Now, this part is going to focus on the concept of data analytics and business intelligence. Right? Some of you've heard these words. What do they mean? Why is everybody even obsessed with data analytics and business intelligence? Okay, what is the career path for me? What prospects are there? So I'm going to use the next maybe 10 minutes to quickly clear all doubts about what data analytics is and what business intelligence is. Okay. So again, for this one, we'll talk about the difference between BI, which is business intelligence, and data analytics, right? Then we'll talk about career path, right? For those who have heard that there's a lot of dollars in that area, which road should you use? The motorway or the tunnel? We'll discuss that, okay? Then we'll focus now on BI in Excel, right? When we are analyzing data, what tools are we talking about? Is it only tables? Is it only pivot tables? Right? There's more than that. So we'll talk about Power Query, Power Pivots, DAX, slicers, and how to even create a dashboard. Okay, so that you know that Excel is just not for VLOOKUP. That's why we are here. Now, after that, we'll transition to Power BI. Okay, so again, what is Power BI? Why is everybody obsessed? In fact, it's almost 9 years. In fact, 9 years counting. Next year will be 10 years. So imagine this powerful software in the system and you have not even touched it. 10 years, right? So we'll talk about Power BI, the different versions and how to install and all those things. Then we'll conclude with the impact of AI on BI. I hope it sounds funny, but you understand. When I say the impact of AI on BI, I hope you understand. So this is going to be a very short presentation. Then we'll do a little test. Today is not a presentation. We are here. So you brought your laptops, right? You have at least an Excel version installed. So I'll give you a little work to do, right? And then we'll see the gaps that we need to fill in. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about BI and data analytics. Why are we obsessed with business intelligence and data analytics? Here's the truth. We are generating so much data. Think of all the things that we used to do in the past physically. Those times, if you had to do an account-to-account transfer at the bank, you have to go and queue, right? And then go, even the GCB days, make sure the thing is stamped and those things before the money is transferred. Now, everybody is going digital. Everybody's going digital. That means that it is now easier to generate data. So for most organizations, they are now in this point in their journey where these tools are generating so much data, but they are starved for insights. Okay, so in a typical app transaction, if you download the data, you will see that maybe over 1,000 customers transacted on our platform. What organizations need from this is insights. And that's why they are looking for people with these skills to be able to tell us that it's on Fridays that we should open early, or this product should be discontinued. Okay, let's apply the discount in December because the data points to that. There's a certain pattern that we have seen. Now, BI is business intelligence. What it does is that it helps us understand what has happened backwards. Okay, what has happened and why what happened. So these are the two things that BI seeks to answer. Okay, why was it that we made losses, or why was it that we made profits? BI will help you understand which product did well, which salesperson did well. BI is able to dig into your previous data and then help you answer questions on what happened and why it happened. Please, are you with me? So if you hear business intelligence, that is what we are talking about. Now, organizations don't want only historical insights. They also want what is likely to happen from the past. So if you have generated so much data, okay, based on that, what is likely to happen. This is where we go into predictive analytics. Okay. In fact, the competition now is about how to harness data to beat your competitors. So before they even bring out the products, you have already seen the lights. You know that when it's October, you should brand pink because it improves revenue. BI will tell you that. And then use that to show what is likely to happen and how to make what is likely to happen happen. Now, that part is where the data analytics comes in. Okay, so the predictive parts, extending the BI knowledge to tell ourselves what is likely to happen and how to make it happen. That is the data analytics part. Now, so what it means is that data analytics is a bit broader. Okay, leveraging on historical data to go into the future. For us, we are starting with business intelligence because if you don't know what has happened in the past, you can't go into the future. Are you with me? So when you hear Power BI, Power Business Intelligence, that's where the name is coming from. Okay, so in summary, business intelligence and data analytics are both about understanding data, while BI helps businesses make better decisions by looking at past and current data. Data analytics goes beyond business intelligence by finding patterns. Are you with me? And making predictions using various methods. Are you with me? So at least now things are getting clearer. So that is the difference between business intelligence and data analytics. Now at this point, somebody is asking, what tools do we use? I'm showing you this. Maybe you would have heard about Tableau. You would have heard about Power BI. You have heard about Sisense. You would have heard about Excel. You don't have to go far. Our good old Excel is well capable of handling a lot of the BI questions. So it's always a good place to start. But the reason we like Excel and Power BI is that Microsoft has been in a very comfortable lead for a very long time, so far as the tools for business intelligence are concerned. So this is the Gartner Magic Quadrant, is the organization dedicated to researching tools for business intelligence, right? So we like Power BI because, in fact, most of the organizations who even started with Tableau are transitioning to Power BI. Yes, Tableau is good with the visuals, but there's more to data analytics than just visuals. You have to learn how to clean data, how to model the data, how to do DAX calculations. Power BI is strong in there. Even with the visuals, they are making a lot of improvements at the front end. So that is why we like learning the Microsoft tools. Okay, so our focus this season will be Excel and Power BI. Now, let's talk about career path. So there are options for you. Please, this subject is no more for the IT people. So if you're an accountant, you are a health worker, you are a sports analyst, you are a journalist, right? So even now, the journalists are transitioning into something called data journalism, okay, where they are using data-driven insights to report. So BI and data analytics is patterned across. It's a common denominator for everybody. So look at what you do and see how you can add these skills as a layer. You can be a business analyst. The business analyst basically understands the model of the organization and then adds the data analysis skills to it. Okay. You can be a data analyst. That's a generic way. Maybe you have been brought in to just help the organization get insights from data. You may not have this understanding of the model of the business, but your skill is what is going to help them get insights from their data. So the difference between a business analyst is that the business analyst is born within the organization. So he knows the ins and outs, adds the data analytics skills. But the data analyst is more like generic. But in some cases, there's a very thin line between the two, right? So those two options are there. You could also be a data scientist, right? You heard about data science. These are people who do lab work with data, testing the hypothesis. Okay, doesn't always happen that if this happens, this happens. Okay, so the data scientist digs a bit deeper, right? So He looks at data to determine questions that need answers. He devises hypotheses and all those things. So bottom line is that if you start even with what we are doing, you can transition. And Microsoft now even makes these things easier because you can now do all these things on one platform called Fabric. The machine learning and data science and all those things are now possible in one platform. You don't really have to dig deep. Okay. Then those who are also data engineers would make sure that the logistics and the technology and the cloud work that would host the data and all those things are set up. So if you get a job vacancy, you can see any of these data options, right? So your job as a data engineer is to put in the system to make it possible to harvest data and then analyze the data. Then there's a database administrator who manages the systems, looking at the overall health of the database, privacy issues, assigning credentials, and all those things, right? It's not limited to these five. But what I'm saying is that if you start off, the options are many, right? So regardless of the industry you find yourself, you can be any of these in any industry or sector. Are we on the same page? So that's just the overview. Now, learning path, where do I start from? I've said a lot, but where do I start from if I want to make this my career goal? Please start from Microsoft Excel. It may sound very easy, but you see, if you understand how Microsoft Excel takes data in tables, it's able to clean data with Power Query, model data with Power Pivots, summarize data with pivot tables, visualize with charts. It is that same knowledge that you take to Power BI, right? Then extend it to Fabric. Okay, so a good place to start are these two. You can also add Tableau, maybe just for, for extra options. But transitioning Excel to Power BI is always a good start, right? Then SQL. Why? Because if you turn up and you're analyzing data, it's likely that the most organizations, for security purposes, they store their data in SQL servers, right? So it's good to at least know how to bring down data into Excel or Power BI or Tableau. So normally, having a little understanding of how SQL works is also good. It's not very difficult to learn, okay? So SQL, with these tools, will put you in a very comfortable place, right? In fact, these three are almost always good enough, okay? Then if you are comfortable and you have capacity, you can leverage Python, especially when you want to go to data science and all those things. Python or R, okay? So if you have capacity, you can extend to Python. Now, it's very easy to learn these things because there are now YouTube videos, Udemy makes lessons free and all those things. But this is a very good path. And then if you, again, you leverage AI on these tools. Because now, if you know this stuff, what will separate you from other learners is prompt engineering to get stuff done quickly. Are you on the same page? So for all of us who are gathered in this room, please, this will be a good learning path. You don't have to finish at the end, okay? But at least if you start with Excel, Power BI, and then you add a little bit AI, you are in a very comfortable lead. Are we good? Okay, now enough of the talking. Let's do some work. So we are going to do a little practice. That will help me expose you to business intelligence in Excel. So please open up your Excel workbook and then please do this with me. Go online. I'll take your questions, so please bear with me. So please go online and then download. So just put in this URL. For those online, I'm going to put the link in the chat. So for those online, I just posted a link in the chat. It's bit.ly bit.ly / in caps Finex FINEX S16. Those in the classroom, we are giving you access to the internet. So please download the workbook. It's an Excel workbook. So it's bit.ly /FINEX S16, right? It's like a URL address. Yeah. So I'll give you like a minute to download this. So all you do is just copy this. And then you go to your browser. And then
Inventory data start.
say that again.
Inventory data.
Yes, inventory data starts. The internet is a challenge. I don't know, but you can use your hotspots. I'll share your hotspots and then. But for those in the classroom, this is the so Finex or Finex at MTN, and then you put in the password. Okay, so you just punch it in the URL. You just put the URL in the address. The address again is bit.ly /FINEX S16. Please mind the case. Those who have downloaded, you can start warming up. You can go straight to instructions. So if you did it correctly, it should bring you a workbook. So there's a workbook that you should see. Okay, now before we even so before we even go into the ins and outs, let's say you turn up for an interview, which is now very likely because now people are moving away from the English. Just go and speak English. And then you show your CV and the work is given to you. Please, you have changed. These days, beyond the English, if you are applying for a data analyst role, you will do an aptitude test. You will show working. So usually the process is they give you data and then you go through to get some answers. So first of all, those who have the data, I'll show you that the first step in analyzing data is called EDA. Who knows that? What's the full meaning? Our old students are exempted. So the first step in doing any work in data or analyzing data is called EDA. If you're a new student, you can answer the question. Online, you are invited. Okay. I'll bounce back to the old students. What is EDA? I'm posting the link again. Somebody asked for it. Right. Nicholas, are you answering?
Exploratory data analysis.
Exploratory data analysis, right? As the name implies, your first goal is to explore the data. Go to the length and breadth of the data to make sense of what is possible. Okay. In the process, you identify some issues with the data. So if there are missing values, data types that are not set well, and all those things, all those come in the exploratory data analysis. Okay, to give you a sense of the data and what has to be fixed and what can be reported on. It also includes creating summary calculations, like mean, average, count, and all those things. Right. So the starting points for analyzing data is to do an EDA. Are you with me? So please note that, because we are going to use Copilot and ChatGPT. In fact, now, for those who have joined us in the past, you know, before EDA or after EDA, you do your ETL, which is the extract, transform, and load. But now it is almost mandatory that you get AI to speak to the data first, so that you even know where to start from, right? But let's assume you don't have AI, and then you have come here, and I'm asking you some few questions. So first, in the instructions, if you go to the instructions, please let's go to the instructions. There are 10 things I want you to do. The first one is to, first of all, what is the data about? It's about inventory. So the data is about inventory, storing inventory in a warehouse, right? So if you don't know that, then you start off in the wrong direction. So if you look at the data, there's item ID, there's item name, category of the item. So there's clothing, there's groceries. Look at that as a supermarket, right? The receipt date, when the goods were brought in, the date it was dispatched, okay? The quantity received and the quantity dispatched. The warehouse it was assigned to. The unit price of the product, that is the cost of the product. Then there is inventory remaining. How much of it is left at every point in time after the dispatch? And then the inventory value, which is multiplying the inventory remaining by the unit price. This one is a very simple case study. These are all aligned. If you don't understand the data, you can't proceed. That is the truth. Please, do you understand the data? You don't understand the data. Okay, let me go over it again. Like you run a supermarket, you receive goods, and then when you are ready to sell, you get guys to move the goods from the warehouse to the supermarkets, right? So like the register that takes the recording of the movement of the goods is what you have here. I hope you understand. So let's say you are the warehouse manager. When item 1 comes, you load, you take item 1, right? So let me expand the columns to make it easier. Have you seen this? So item 1, that is the item ID. Okay, then the product name, maybe it is this way chocolate drink, right? Or tie and dye. Is there a question? The category is clothing, right? So everything about the goods you have received, and then things about how you dispatch them, is what is in this data. Does it make sense? In fact, it is a very typical case study because if you are not a service person, almost likely you have something like this to monitor how goods come in and how goods go out. Are you on the same page? Very good. Now that you understand the data, in fact, on the second sheet, go to the second sheet. It's a 2-column data set. That one speaks to the price of each item that has been brought in. It has been intentionally placed on the different worksheets because you can have a situation like that where all the data you need to analyze is in one table, or some of it is in another worksheet. Please are you with me? In this analysis, you are supposed to put these two data sets together to inform management on things that are happening to your inventory. So you realize that in our original inventory table, yes, we have the unit price, that is the cost of the item. But the numbers you have in the prices are how much you sell. I hope you understand. How much it costs us. The first one is 5 cedis 84 pesos. That's how much it costs us. But if I go to item 1 in prices, I'm going to sell it at 6.01. That's where I get my profits. Right? As a data analyst, you have to understand the data you analyze. You don't just go in and then start creating charts. I'm taking my time so that you understand the instructions. Are we all on the same page? Good. Now, what we are going to do is this. For each instruction, you do it first. Right? Then I will do it. Then AI will do it. That's how we're going to go about it. So when you do it, then you score yourself. Come and stand in D1, D3. When you stand in D3, there's a drop down. Okay, when you choose done, it will check done, and it will score you 1 total score. At the end of the day, I'll come around for your marks. Are we aligned? Are we aligned? Okay, shall we get started? Okay, so number 1, calculate total inventory remaining. There are no wrong answers. Attempts. Calculate. Are you done? You're done. Calculate total inventory remaining. Broken down into English, what this means is that there's a column called inventory remaining. Add it up. Of course. So, please, in person, somebody is done. Online, put your answer in the chat. Online, put your answer in the chat. Total inventory remaining. Okay. Okay. I see a certain figure is trending. 1890. 1,890. If you're not getting that, you can type it. Right? So the total inventory remaining is 1,890. Maybe you're not seeing where the number is coming from. So let's do that one. Now, in BI in Excel, one of the tools that you will use is tables. Right? In lesson 1 of your data analytics journey in Excel, you need to know what is a table. Okay? A table allows us to store data in a structured way, so that if it expands or shrinks on refresh, all the calculations you have done with it will automatically update. Without tables, it means you are always using the mouse to extend your formulas. But if you store your data in the tables, you don't have to worry. It has a name. These are you with me? So those who did it without tables, you probably would have highlighted, this is the column we are interested in, column J. Right? If you are new to this subject, I see people who do the auto sum, or they'll go control shift down, highlight the whole thing, and then typically students will tell you that it's on the status bar. But what if the status bar is hidden? And I need the calculation to do something, right? So that's one way people do it. But when you start your data analysis journey in Excel, we ask you to know what tables are. Tables are just structured objects. So if I stand in any cell, let's do this together if you don't know how to do it. You can go to insert. Just select a single cell. Just a single cell, not more than one. And then you see table. Do you see table here? And then insert. You see table? So you see the tooltip tells you that it helps you organize and analyze related data. Have you seen that? So when you insert, click on it. So when you insert, it gives you the area it is going to convert into a table, including the headers. The learning here is that when we are analyzing data, we don't start off what you had originally, the black and white is called a range. If you start off like that, you struggle. So you have to convert the data into a table so that everything is in one place. Right? Now click OK. Forget about the fact that it's looking nicer. But beyond the nice looking, there's something it has done that will make our job easier. It has put it in one structured container. Is that with me? So if I have something like this, you see that table design pops up here.
Hello, Bernard. Hello.
Yes.
Bernard, please can you go over the formula? What you're doing now? I think I'm lost.
Okay. So I've reversed my step. What I'm saying is black and white. In Excel, the basic unit for data entry is called a cell. If I have more than one, it's called a range, right? So normally when we get data or we download data, we are tempted to analyze it in its default state. That is a range. I'm saying don't do that. You struggle. So what we are doing is we select a single cell and then house, this one, I mean, lucky, the structure is clean. So if it's one cell, you just select one cell and then you go to insert. Select one cell and then you insert a table. The shortcut is also Control T. If you press Control T, you arrive at the same place. Please, are you with me? So please, you haven't started learning yet. I'm using this to show something. Okay, so we'll click OK. And then this now gives us a table. Why is it important? It's important because I can name it. I can give it a name. So that even if I am not looking at the data physically, I can use the name in my calculations. Right? So normally, when you insert a table, you notice that there's a table design here. Okay, it pops up as an extra tab or table 2, some tab B. Right? If you stand inside the table, you see that. When you stand inside the table, you see that there's a new tab at the top. So if you stand here, you see table design. Have you seen it? Yeah. This is where we can name the table. Right? So if you click on table design or table tools or design, anything, it's just an extra tab. To the far left, you see something called table name. You see table name? Give it a name. Please, you are naming it where there's table 1. Right? So let's call this inventory. right? So let's call this inventory. And if it's table 2, is fine. Those who have table 2 means we did it 2 times. 2 of us. Don't worry about the default name.
Syntax of this region.
Inventory. It doesn't need a space. Okay, online. Please ask. Online, if there's a question, please go ahead.
Can you go back? Can you go back to the table statement?
I'm sorry, your line is not too clear. Can you speak up a bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was saying, if you could please go back 2 steps to how we saved it, right?
How we saved the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think I missed the step in terms of start from home, right? No, not
Yes,
not
so-
so this is fine when we go to, I mean, at the tables, we take it to the table form, and then you mentioned so this is fine. So we can go to insert table.
Okay, so insert table,
Yeah,
that's what Control T, that brings us here.
good. So so where do we get the table for? I mean, in terms of
Okay, so yeah. So stand inside the table. Make sure your cell is in one of the
all right.
cells in the table. Then to the right on top, where the tabs are, you see table design or design, right? So you click on that, and then the menu for the table
All right.
will pop.
All right, that's
Good. Okay, like I said, we'll start learning next week, but I just want to expose you to what is possible. Okay, if I may not go through all the instructions, but I want to show you something. Okay, now I said name its inventory without a space. Okay, so inventory is the name of the table, right? Normally, if you want summary or aggregations from the table itself comes with a total row. Okay, so the 1890 that you calculated, the 1890, it is the total of one column in the table. All I need to do is under the table design, okay, I will go to total row. It's part of the menu of the table. Are you with me? So if I check total row, it adds a temporal aggregation row. This row is not for data inputs, it's for calculations. Right? So even if you don't know anything at all, you should be able to use tables to aggregate the content in your column. So you realize that if the total row comes, under each column, I have the option to use a drop down. Right? So I'm standing under inventory remaining. Are you with me? Then I can sum, I can average, I can count, I can max, I can mean, standard deviation, all those things. Please, are you with me? So this is like class 1. Being able to aggregate data from tables. Are we aligned? So if I sum this, then I get my 1890. See how simple it is. Now, I showed you this because I want you to see how Copilot will do this. Right? The human being has done it. But how will Copilot do this? So I'm going to reverse the whole total row thing. But to make things easier, Copilot is able to work effectively in tables. So as for the tables, you have to insert. Please, are you with me? Now, this is how you will be working in the future when it comes to analyzing data. I will stand in the table, I will come home, and then I'll activate Copilot. So in the future, you always have an assistant to your right. you ask the questions. It's called the prompts. You use the prompts and then it generates. In fact, it can modify the data physically for you. Are you with me? So you don't really have to know all the ins and outs. As long as you have the data and then you have the right prompts, you are in a good place. So let me try this with Copilot. First, I turn on auto save, and then I save this to the cloud. Okay, so it's saved in my OneDrive or SharePoint. Okay, now my Copilot now will take some time to understand the data, so it should pop up anytime soon. Please, currently, we can create formulas. We can understand. Understand means it will go in and even suggest some pivot tables you can start with. Okay, you can apply color and formatting. Okay, then you can ask Copilot questions on the data. Which product is selling well and all those things. You can do that. There's a fifth one that will come. That one has Python embedded in the prompts. So if you want to do maybe correlation, regression, and all those fancy stuff, right? That button, when you activate it, already comes enabled with Python. So you can ask all the high-level questions on the data. Are you with me? Now, I'm going to do the same thing and ask Copilot that calculates total inventory remaining. And then I'll press enter. Okay, so that's my prompt. It scans the data, and then first of all, what it will do is that it's going to give you a preview with explanation. Okay, that I am using this formula. You can copy this formula and even put it outside the table. Or you can choose to add the calculation directly inside the table. Sorry with me. So I'll click insert row, and then this is your 1,890. Are you with me? Okay, there's a hand up in the online session. Please go ahead. Okay. Yes.
The problem
Mhm.
is that when you create the table or index the design table, it's going to generate the
It's available, but you have to activate the total row for it to come. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through all the prompts or the questions, but I want to show you something. I'm going to do question number 5. Highlight all cells that have outstanding quantities less than 50 in warehouse A. I know if I ask you to do it manually, there will be blues. So, but you learn how to do this. So I'm going to copy this prompt. Okay, I'm going to copy this prompt, and then I'll come to the inventory. Sorry, I'll come to the table and then paste this. What are we looking for? We want it to, so maybe warehouse A, right, requires attention. You want to highlight all items that have quantities less than 50 in yellow. Okay, so this is my prompt, and I'll go ahead and then feed it. So it's going to go through, again, it will suggest the formula it's used. Okay, so for those who know logic statements, if this is that and this is that, then you apply the color. The color it is using is yellow. It tells you. So if you're okay with this, we'll go ahead and then we apply it. So it will go ahead and then apply. Okay, so this is that. Have you seen? So now all the highlighted cells are those in warehouse A. right? So if I filter on color, filter by color, you realize that everything that I have here is in warehouse A and it's under 50. You get where this is going? Now, let me add the pivot tables part. I'm going to ask it to add a pivot table grouped by inventory remaining and warehouse. So I'll come here and then I'll prompt using this. Right? So it's going to go through and then first generate the pivot table. So once it's done, when you go up, you notice that the pivot table is here. I can add this pivot table to a new sheet. So it inserts it in a new sheet. Are you with me? Then even on this, I can insert a chart. So I can insert a chart on this. And then if you know that slicers exist, I can even insert a slicer on category. Okay, we are going to go through all this, but I'm just showing you that how we used to do things are changing, right? But you need to know what is a slicer, what is a pivot table, what does it do, and all those things before we even go into the details. Are you on the same page? So because of time, I'm not going to go through all the 10, but if you like, when you go on, right, I'm going to show you how to activate Copilot for free for 1 month at least, so that you get into the modern way of working. But what we are going to do this season is that we'll go the normal way. Then when we are done, we'll leverage the AI tools to see how things have become easier. Is are you on the same page? Okay, now let me bounce back to the tool that we use in Excel for analyzing data. You already know about tables, right? So you've seen tables. At least you've seen tables in action. You can't imagine it anymore because you have seen it. So we always start with tables. Are you with me? Then, normally, if the data is not clean or the data is not has issues, we use a tool called Power Query. Right? Power Query is what we call an ETL, extract, transform, and load tool. It exists in Excel and it also exists in Power BI. That's why I'm saying when you start in Excel, you are in a comfortable league. I'm going to demo how Power Query works. We use it to clean, shape, and transform data. Okay. Now, when you finish cleaning the data using Power Query and all those things, you can now put them in a place called Power Pivot. In situations where you are analyzing more than one table, you see in the case study I showed you, there were 2 tables involved. One had inventory data, and then the other had sales price data. In order to bring the 2 tables together, typically you do probably a VLOOKUP or something to bring the prices to the other table. But with Power Pivot, you don't have to do that. You can load the 2 tables and connect them so that if I ask for price, it will give me. If I ask for cost, it will give me. I have all the tables in one space. And that space is what we call a data model. Right? So the case study we are going to use will show you how to create a data model using Power Pivot. So that is tool number 3, Power Pivot. Then when we are done, we will learn how to create DAX formulas. What is DAX? DAX is data analysis expressions. In normal English, calculations for data analysis. Okay, it is a native language for creating formulas in the data model. It exists in Excel, it exists in Power BI as well. They look like regular Excel formulas, but a bit more enhanced, right? So you learn how to create formulas using DAX. Then when you are done, you will now use pivot tables and cube functions to summarize your data. Then create charts. Okay, and then finally end up with what we call a dashboard. Okay, so this is how the tools in Excel come together to help us get insights from data. So maybe you have always been using pivot tables, but after the class, you will now be enriched with all the other tools you probably didn't know existed in Excel, right? So when we analyze data, it's a big deal in Excel. It's not just the basic stuff that you know. These are all on the same page. Now that you know these tools, let me show you a typical output of how these tools come together to give us a final dashboard. So I'm sure those are who are copying. I'll probably share this with you. I'll share the PDF version of this with you. Last season, we looked at this data on the World Bank. So there's this data on women representation in parliament, whether it has been dropping or increasing. Affirmative action. So we went online and then we downloaded data from World Bank. What we try to do is we try to mix the case studies. So it's not only finance, we do other generic. So this is the data. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? This is the data. Actually, where are you been starting from? Right. So the data that we downloaded shows over the years the percentage representation of women in parliament. First of all, if you're a data analyst, you know that the structure of this data is not correct. Right? The columns are not aligned well. There are some extra details at the top that you have to clean and all those things. This is where you use Power Query to transform the data. And truth is that ChatGPT can do this. First, it can do the EDA. You know what the EDA is. And then it can suggest ways for you to clean the data. Say that again. Exploratory data analysis. The question was, what is EDA? Exploratory data analysis. Now, you see, this data is what, so there is data, there's metadata on countries. So there are two sheets. And then there is the metadata indicators. So these three sheets are what we are working with. Is that with me? Now, with the AI evolution, this is now how we analyze data. So what we'll do is that you've seen Copilot in action. Let's see ChatGPT in action on how to help us make sense of this data. So I'm going to demo how we'll be learning. Now, ChatGPT is also free. In fact, the free version is now even a bit more powerful, but just that it's limited on usage. So this is ChatGPT. Right? Initially, the challenge we face as human beings is that if somebody throws data at us, how do we start? Where do we even start? Okay. Now, I'm using the paid version, but the free version looks like this. The free version allows you to use the latest model, ChatGPT 4.0. It even allows you to attach a file for analysis. Okay, I'll show you later part of the presentation how to activate yours. But I can go in and then upload data from the computer. So I'm coming to season 16. This is where my file is. Come here. So this is the file that I just opened. Okay, I'll double click this. Because it is a data analyst. When I say conduct an EDA on this data, it knows what I mean. So I'm going to go with a very simple prompt. Conduct an EDA, exploratory data analysis, on this data. then go ahead and then submit. Right? So it gives me a preview of the data in a tabular form, right? And then it will analyze and then give you the length and breadth. So it has 269 rows, 68 columns, each structure. I thought the EDA is about just going through and exploring the data. Okay. Now, under normal circumstances, it should be able to even suggest which tables you can use as fact tables and dimensioning tables. Our people know this, our old students, but you will know it when we start class. Okay. So what I'm basically saying is that it will even tell you some of the descriptive statistics that you can use on this data. Okay. And then sometimes, so I'm going to ask you to visualize trends. So go ahead and visualize. If you are reading the response, you realize that it has given me some further and better details. So what we are trying to say is that back then, we used to take a long time to even understand the data. Okay. So if AI is able to do this for you, and then you come back to Excel or Power BI, about 30% of the job is done already. You now have to know where Power Query is, Power Pivot is, the data model is, and then use the tools as you want them. This doesn't make sense. So that is the journey we are going to use this season. That's the thing that we know already. We are going to leverage how to use these tools to make it happen. Now, the final output of this. So those who joined us last season, I know we went through this, but we didn't end up doing it. We did a different case study. This is like a typical dashboard in Excel. So after joining Finex, you should be able to create something like this. The output of the women representation in Parliament is that across these continents, right, these are the various representations. So Latin America, okay, is 20.05%. Middle East and North America, this is it. Okay, so I can break it down continent by continent, see the trend and all those things. I hope it makes sense. This is Excel. Nothing spectacular. Are you with me? So in Excel, we can use these tools with these AI tools to be able to even make our work easier. And that is our journey and target this season. Okay, let me move on. And then let's talk about Power BI. Again, please note your questions. We'll give you about 15 minutes to answer all your questions. So this is, now let's talk about Power BI. Honest, how many of you don't know Power BI? You don't know, it's okay. That's why you are here. Okay, it's okay. Even for us as trainers, it hasn't been long. Okay, so it's almost, I mean, in this space, it's almost new, but it's 9 years old. So if you are conversant with all the things I've described with Excel, how it takes data, how it cleans it, how it combines with Power Pivot and all those things, Power BI does all that, right? But it gives you extra capabilities. Now, in Power BI, it allows us to get data from many sources: SQL, folders, PDFs, online. All those things are possible, right? So when you turn up an organization, Power BI is able to connect to their local server or their cloud server, and then you're able to get the data and then you analyze in just a few minutes. But there are virtually like 5 stages that we go through when we are analyzing data in Power BI. The first one is the ETL, which is similar to what we do in Excel, right? Please, what did I say the ETL is? Transform and then load. And in Excel, we do that with what? With Power Query, right? So Power Query exists in Power BI as well. Okay. When we train, then we can connect the tables using the data model. Okay, so the data model also is in Power BI, right? Then we will create our DAX calculations also in Power BI. Okay, then we will visualize. I will show you sample Power BI work. Now, the question probably you are asking is, where do I get Power BI? It's available for free. Before the class ends, I'll show you how to download it so that you are prepared for class next week. It's free on Windows Store. So while I talk to you, you can go into Windows Store, search for Power BI Desktop, and then start downloading it. With the free version, you can do all this for free. The other version, which is the Power BI service, allows you to publish to the cloud, right? And then also collaborate with your team members. So, in fact, whether you have the free or licensed version, we all start with the Power BI Desktop. And then once you are done, you publish your work online to your workspace, embed it in PowerPoint and all those things. So that is Power BI, a quick overview. So if you look at it, it's actually similar to the process in Excel, right? So we extract, we transform, we load, we connect tables, we calculate, we visualize, then we publish. Now, this is Power BI. This is the desktop version. So again, at the end of the class, I'm going to show you how to download this. So it comes like this. Okay, in fact, now if you turn up at any corporate office, you're almost required to know how to use Power BI. Okay, so this is how Power BI looks like when it is done. So a typical report or dashboard looks something like this. So this is a budget and actual case study that we did in season 14. Okay, so if you look at it, you realize that this is like the output. The visuals are nicer. Okay, so you have slices that allow you to break down and then visualize and all those things. So you learn how to create measures. You learn how to, connect using the data model and all those things. Don't be overwhelmed. These things are very simple, right? It's not for IT people. Everybody can come along. Okay, so on day one of your Power BI class, we go through the installation, how to load data and all those things. Okay, so just to give you a heads up on how Power BI looks like. So one of the case studies that we did 2 seasons ago is what we are looking at on the screen. Now, let me conclude this presentation with the impact of AI on BI. Then we'll go through our logistics and then our learning, and I'll take your questions. Okay, so the reason we like AI is that now we can use something called natural language processing, NLPs. You saw how I was just asking Copilot and ChatGPT to do stuff, right? In fact, now it's even being elevated to voice prompts. So, madam, you can, over coffee, just ask Copilot that give me top 5 products by voice. It can do it for you. But again, if you don't appreciate the process, you'll probably be all over the place. It is also helping us automate some routine tasks. I've seen people apply ChatGPT to automation tools like Zapier and those things to make things easier to run. Okay. Then it also is helping us create enhanced data visualization. Truth is that in its current form, Copilot and ChatGPT cannot create data visualization completely, right? You can create images. DALL-E and Midjourney can create, in fact, videos now, but it hasn't gotten to the point where it can create like a complete part on its own. but it gives us tips for improving on our visualization. Okay. In advanced application, AI is now being integrated with what we call IoTs, Internet of Things, right? So normally for the huge supermarkets and those things, the method they use to gather data is that even as you walk inside and out, as you move within the shelves, they are collecting data on you. There are gadgets that they've installed with vision that can collect data easily. That is AI enabled. If you see where AI is going, the opportunities are there. But truth is that it's not going to replace the human being, but it's going to complement how the human being works. So if you're in 2024 and you're in Finex Skills Hub, please embrace the future. Don't wait in the next 10 years when people have taken advantage and pushed you to the back. And now you're playing catch up. This is just a year old. In fact, it was in November 2023 that the official commercial version of ChatGPT came out. It hit 1 million users in 5 days, which was a record. Okay, so it's still early days, but gets involved, right? Then cognitive computing, that is where the AI now starts reasoning and behaving like human beings. Okay, so these are some of the key impacts AI will have on BI in data analytics. In the last slide, this is how we are going to learn. So the common task that we are going to do in Excel and Power BI is going to be enhanced using these 10 common ways. First, we will use Copilot and ChatGPT for EDA activities. When it's not complex, when I say that you understand, right? Then we'll use it to help us clean and transform data. So for those who have joined us in previous seasons, if Power Query was intimidating you, by the time we go to Power Query, we already have a map, right? In fact, because of time, I didn't show you, it can even generate an M code that you can copy and paste into Power Query, run it, and then it does the actions for you. Okay, so we'll apply EDA insights to clean and transform data. We will use it to create comment and format formulas. In fact, it's beautiful when ChatGPT creates formulas for you, DAX. So no more challenges with DAX. As long as we can define what we want, we can get a prompt that will generate these DAX formulas for us without any stress. But of course, the learning is that even if you copy the formula, you should know where to fit it. If you don't know where to fit it, it's useless. Okay? We will learn to use how to use these tools to structure data sets and create data dictionaries. So what data dictionaries are is when it gives you like an overview of a profile of, let's say, a type of columns, whether they are dates, they are values, they are percentages, and all those things. Normally, because human beings take a long time to profile data, when this task is done, it makes our job easier. Okay. 5, we will use it to generate data models. I will show you what is called a schema. A schema is like a visual representation of how the tables are connected. In fact, ChatGPT can suggest, based on the EDA it has done on the data, how to connect your data model. You can even separate what fact tables are and what dimension tables are for you. Are you on the same page? Then we'll use it to create comments. Earlier, we use it to create M formulas. M formulas are in Power Query, and DAX formulas are in the data model. So both ways, whether we are in Power Query or the data model, gone are the days where we have to struggle to create these formulas. With the right prompts, we should be able to create these formulas on our own. Then we'll use it to even break down DAX formulas. You see, if you create DAX formulas and you don't understand, it's very difficult. So we use these tools to break it down and comment and teach us. In fact, you can use these tools to teach yourself, right? How the formula is behaving and all that. Then you can provide tips on visualization. Okay, that's number 8. Then we'll use it to research. Maybe on the topic that you are visualizing or analyzing, you don't know much about it, but you're going to talk about it. These tools can help you research. and then talk about these things. These skills are skills that are going to pay off in the future. Imagine turning up at the office on Monday and then show your people how these things work if they don't know. Okay. Then finally, we'll use it to troubleshoot. When we do our stuff and we get into trouble, we can copy the formula and then use it to troubleshoot, tell us where we got it wrong and all that. Like I said, I'll share this PDF with you so that you can use it as a reference point. Okay, so I'm done with a technical presentation. What we are going to do in the next 15 minutes before we round up is to talk about how we are going to learn. Okay, then I'll take your questions. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the brochure, which you already have. So online, I'll take your questions very soon. Okay, now let's go through the process to install Copilot and ChatGPT. So I'm going to post two links. So the first one is ChatGPT. If you don't use it, this is how you get started. I'll put it in the link. In person, I'm coming. Please give me a minute. I need to get some file out. Okay, so please, if you are new to ChatGPT, you can just enter chatgpt.com. Okay, so if you copy this and then you go to your browser, okay, it's very easy to log in. So you go to chatgpt.com. In fact, even without creating an account, okay, you already have access to the 4.0 mini model. Okay, so here you can attach, but it will require you to log in or create a free account, right? Even without creating an account, some basic prompts can work. But I would encourage you to create an account. Is there a question?
Because of the things that we're seeing in the news, people creating suicide because of the charge. When you check the news. So, I mean, signing in, giving my information.
Okay, so I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your concern. Of course, with every tool, there are SSs. What you normally should do is, yes, you can sign in, but avoid sensitive data. Okay, I don't expect you to go and load your internal organization documents. Okay, at best, what you can do is even just copy the text, make it anonymous, and then run it by ChatGPT. Because truth is, just as you are saying, These tools also feed on data. Data is their food, right? So the more data you give it, the more it understands what you are trying to get it to do. So yes, there are concerns about data privacy, data security, and all those things. So if you're not comfortable and probably don't want to be sign with your personal email, I mean, by signing with your personal email, I don't think it just accesses your email. I don't think so. But what you could probably do is maybe for signing up for ChatGPT, you can create an anonymous email or an email you don't use. Okay, just to log in and then create an account. Right. Online, please ask your question. So yes, of course, even with your Gmail account, you know how much Google knows about you, right? For some of these tools, there's a very thin line between how they serve us and how we serve them. Even as we're coming here, Google knows you'll be coming here in the next 5 Saturdays. Oh, they know. There was a funny presentation that if you are a married person and you are cheating, Google knows you are cheating because it tracks you to a place that is marked as a hotel. Even if you don't allow it, these days, you're not too sure, right? I mean, I can't say as a fact, but even some of the things you are clicking on, the websites you are going to, have cached systems that collect data. Truth is that, yes, be very observant. The kind of data you are creating, your likes, the things you are viewing on social media, okay? How is it that, in fact, you are even talking about something, next thing you know, is being suggested to you as an advert, right? It doesn't mean we shouldn't live. If you are lying, be consistent. That's my point. Yes, General.
When you are accessing some websites, they ask you whether you are comfortable to.
Yes.
Yes. And the easier way to just click it and then move on. So if you are reading news and you go to Wall Street Journal or Financial Times, you just click, you want to read the story. But you don't really know what it does behind the scenes.
Exactly.
If you get to try to select, you have a whole list of, you can't even finish.
Yes.
So you need to understand what is the risk of that?
Okay. So the question for those who are online is, what is the risk of allowing cookies? In fact, in some of the websites, some are mandatory. If you reject, you go out. Some allow you to choose which ones, the necessary ones, the marketing ones, and all those things. You see, what cookies normally do is to make your subsequent visits easier. So they will know that when you came here the first time, you came to do this and this and this. Sometimes it caches your login, it caches where you went to and all those things. So it knows a bit about you. But the challenge is we are not too sure what they are doing with that data, whether they are selling it or they are using it to know more about us. Here is the challenge. There's little you can do. Okay? There's little you can do. The cookies help them to do their work. In fact, now, even Wall Street and some of those websites that we used to even read for free, these days, if you don't even log in and allow cookies, you can't even read a single article. Okay? That's how the world is. It's all about harvesting data. So the question here is, by all means, be careful what you commit. And that is why Copilot probably is a bit safer. Because with Copilot, you can let it sit strictly on just your local files, your OneDrive files and SharePoint, so that you don't expose your organization to the web. Are you with me? So even that one, we have to be a bit extra careful. But please, for our purpose and what we are using it for, we are using it for academics. The challenge comes in when people start talking too much. Now it is their boyfriend, it's their girlfriend, when they have heartbreaks. Now over there, you can talk to it like a human being, and it will respond. iPhone 16 now has ChatGPT enabled with vision. So even for a blind man, I can just activate the camera and then let ChatGPT describe my environment for me. So there are good and bad sides to it. But for the human being, please, you just have to err on the side of caution. That's all. But for this purpose and what you are using it for, please, you are good. It's when you go beyond the personal stuff that you have problems. So let me move on. I'll take your questions. Online, I said I didn't get the question, but let's move on. So this ChatGPT, again, create a free account. You can create an anonymous email and use it if you're not too sure. Now, for Copilot, for some of you, Copilots may already exist in your corporate license if your organization is using Microsoft 365 Enterprise. So you tell your IT guy that I've gone to learn Copilot. If you make a case for it, they can give you the extra license for Copilot. So for most of you, when you now sign in and then you see Excel under home, Copilot is available. It's not strange anymore. Is that with me? But for those of us who don't have Microsoft 365, we can get a free version. 1 month free trial. Please, this is the link. I'm posting it in the. So for those of you in person, this is probably a bit too long, but so let me post it for the online people. Okay, I got a question. Are you going to teach how to use AI for PowerPoint presentation? I think I've already taught that. That's all the learning you need to do. The rest is just enhancements. So that's bonus. But our focus this season is how to use AI for data analysis. Maybe in the future, we can do another session on deep dive PowerPoint presentation with AI. So please, online, I've posted the link. So this is the link, microsoft.com/en.us/store/b/Copilot Pro. Now, apart from Microsoft 365, you can get Copilot as a personal user. Okay. Please, for this lesson, if you can, I would encourage you to get Office 365. Most of our old students are already on that. It is a good investment. So Office 365, 5 of you can buy and share. So I think, what's the annual price now? 1,000. So if I'm sharing, how much would I pay? 250 cedis.
Is that the going rate?
So it's the rate. So I think budget is like, let's say 300 cedis for the whole year. Okay, so 300 cedis, 5 of you come together. You meet Daniel. So I'll leave Daniel's contact in the chat. Please talk to him. He is the one who organizes. 6 people. So 6 people can come together, and then you pay 250 each, and then you get a license. The license is about 1,300 a year. So once you share, you have access to it every year. It helps because some of these modern tools are available, right? So I will share Daniel's contact. Daniel, if you're on, you can share your contact in the chat. And then, okay. So those who are interested, please, if you don't have Copilot, we can manage ChatGPT. But if you have it too, it will help. For the case study we are going to use this season, ChatGPT is what we are going to use mostly, but we also explore Copilot a bit. Now, the link I've posted will give you access to how to buy. If you are not too sure, you can get a 1 month free trial without any commitment. So you can use this link to just get it installed for free for 1 month. But you have to remember to cancel it before they start charging you. Okay. No. Before you get this, you should have 365. So it runs on 365. So for starters, you have to get the Micro Excel Office 365 installation. Okay, then when you are done, you get the Copilot enabled on it. So when you do that, you see the Copilot pop up when you fire any of these apps.
If you don't have access to, if you are already created, and you integrate what you want in there.
You see, this Pro is what does the job. In fact, there's Copilot for Windows. That one is free, right? So the one that you go online and then you ask prompts and all those, that one is free to access. But I'm talking about the one that lives in Excel and PowerPoint, that do the job for you. That one is Copilot Pro, and that's $20. If you get it, it's fine, but we don't really need it for the case study we are going to use. But just that we'll explore a little bit around it. Okay. So ChatGPT, again, you can use the free version, but our main focus is that we'll use these tools to see how data analysis has become easier. So please, these are the two tools I've posted there. It will help if you get Office 365. That's the bottom line. So reach out to Daniel, and then you can make arrangements. Five of you come together, and then you buy, and then you share. Okay. Now, let me go through the brochure quickly. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Sorry,
Yes.
so we have 365, the enterprise, but we can't find the ones. We need to get
Yes, please get your IT to assign and then give it to you. So those who have the Microsoft 365 Enterprise, if your IT assigns the license, you should now see it available in all the apps, Excel, PowerPoint, and all those ones. Then you can just play with it. Okay. So this is bonus for you. It comes with it, but you have to pay for the extra license. So if you make a case for why you need it, hopefully maybe the price will come down so that everybody will get it, because the way we are going to work in the future. But I'm saying that ChatGPT will be good enough for this season, even the free version. Are we good? Okay. Now, the last bit is the brochure. Let's discuss how we are going to learn, and then I'll take your questions. So you already have gone through. So there are going to be two modules: data analytics with Excel. So we are going to do two different case studies. In fact, normally what we do is we don't commit to the case study before the class starts. We check the composition of the class, and then we use a case study that most of you identify with. So last season, they forced us to use an HR case study. So after we'll do the analysis, and then we'll dedicate one case study for Excel, one case study for Power BI. So if you are doing the two, you get two different case studies to practice with. But we are going to go through all that we have discussed. Getting started with generative AI, doing ETL with Power Query, data modeling with Power Pivot, dashboard and visualization with AI, and then we'll learn some real-world case studies. So this is the Excel module. Now, you already know how Copilot works. We showed it in the brochure. Then we come to Power BI. In fact, Copilot also sits with Power BI, but that license is a higher license, premium for premium users. But again, we'll use ChatGPT for those who don't have, right? The idea is we want everybody to come along. So the basic requirement is just sign up for ChatGPT. Even the free version can do a lot. It's just that it limits the number of responses or prompts you can do in a day if it's free. But I'm even happy that they have allowed you to attach a file, the free version. Okay, so we will use that one mostly. So that is the Power BI content. We are going to cover this in 5 sessions. Same with the Excel. Okay, so I'll talk about the timetable and all that. Now, for the subscription plan, it's 2,000 per module. If you pay for the two, it's 3,500. Okay, so We covered that. If you are yet to commit, please, after class, what we are going to do is we are going to release the codes for you to join the classroom for those who are committed. Right? So if you have paid, you will get access to the codes. I'll talk about the Google Classroom and how we use it. Now, here's the timetable. This is very important. We initially wanted to run this only on Saturdays. So on Saturdays, those who are doing Excel will come in person and online. Please note this. The online and in-person Saturday class is the same. So the way we are doing it, as I speak to you in person, the online people are also getting the stream. They can come in with their questions and all that. Okay. So Excel class starts at 9 a.m. Okay, all the way to 12, but we'll take a break at 10:30. Okay, so 10:30, we'll walk around a bit, stretch, get some snacks. Those who are home too, you get your snacks at home. So 10:30 to 10:45 will be break. Then we come and finish 10:45 to 12 for the Excel on Saturdays. Then if you are doing Power BI, we'll take a 1 hour break. Okay, get something to eat, and then come reconvene at 1 p.m. And then we'll go 1 p.m. to 2:30, break, then 15 minutes break, 2:45 to 4. Okay, so we have made it convenient for you to do the two on the same day for those who have registered for the two. Again, it's going to mirror the online time. So the same 1 p.m. is when we connect online. Right? Now, if you're doing Saturdays, you are allowed to switch in between. But I mean, that is just when you have to. So if you're online, you can do online throughout. If you're in person, you can do in person throughout. But the Saturday timetable will move at the same pace, both online and in person. That's the whole idea. Okay, so that is the timetable for Saturdays. Then there was a demand for weekday. So we added this at the tail end in the last 1-2 weeks. There's now the weekday express. So for those who can't join the Saturday, what we have done is we are doing a weekday express online only. Now that one is going to run in 5 continuous days, right? So for those who are doing Excel online, we are going to do 5:30 p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Monday to Friday. The Excel class will start this Monday, God willing, run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and end on the 1st of November. Is that with me? So when we finish, the Excel class is done for the weekday express. So those who join the weekday express, you are going to finish in 1 week, while the 5 Saturday people are now started. That's the whole idea. Then the weekday express, if you have signed up for more than one, you take a break from the second 1 week break to do your assignments, your capstone in Excel. Then we'll come and do another run from 11th to 14th November, another Monday to Friday, 5:30 to 8. Right? So by the time the Saturday people are midterm, you would have done with the 2 modules. That's the weekday express. It's only online. Okay, so that one was added based on demand. So please, that is the timetable. Now, the rest, I think we've already covered it. So at this point, let me just show you the classroom and I'll take your questions. So how do we learn? Martin, I've seen your hand. I'm coming right now. So I'm going to show you how you are going to learn using a virtual classroom, which has proven to be very effective in the last 10 editions. So please give me a minute. Okay. Now, this is how we are going to proceed. So right from here, latest by Sunday afternoon, those who have committed will receive classroom codes, right? So when you get a classroom code, this is how it looks like. So you go to classroom.google.com, you see the classrooms you have been assigned to. So this is the previous class, season 15, right? So we are going to create a new season 16, data analytics with Excel, data analytics with Power BI. So if you have signed up for one, you see one. If you have signed up for two, you see two. Now, when you go in, you go inside the classroom. Okay, there are three tabs. The first one is stream. The second one is classwork, right? And then the third one are the people you are in the classroom with. Okay, so this is what you will see. Now, under stream, this is where you get all announcements. And this is where you ask your questions. So if you have challenges, you can scream here. And then the teachers will get notification. So it's like a regular feed. Class announcements will come here. You also receive them in your email. Okay. But this is very important. Please, when you come to the classroom, okay, every Saturday, when it's time for class, you connect to the class if you're online using this join button. Right? So I'm not going to be sharing codes every Saturday or every weekday. The classroom is your gateway to join the class under stream. So if you're joining online, you come, you click join, and then you are connected, just as you have connected now. Are you with me? Now, we will also post classwork. So ideally, before the class starts, the workbook, the PDF, the videos, whatever you need to learn before the class starts will be posted under the topic. So you can download the files in advance before you come. These files will be available for you for a lifetime, even after the class ends. But on top of the files is a playback video of what we are creating together. This is very important. The live sessions that we do every Saturday, it is very live. It's not rehearsed, right? So you are allowed to ask your questions. You are allowed to let me go back. You didn't get something right, right? So please be present in the live sessions. Then after, you can go and play back and then fill in the gaps. In the classroom, we'll post all the playback videos, latest 24 hours after the class, right? Then you can go in and then fill in the gaps. Please, are you on the same page? So by the end of the class, after the 5 sessions, you realize that you now have created content that you can rely on as resource. That's how we learn. Please, we'll end the session with a capstone. People have been asking, do you give certificates? Yes, we do. But you have to end the certificate. So we'll give you a capstone for you to submit a project. So you have to be sure that you have learned. Then once you are done, we'll graduate you. When you graduate, you'll be added to our popular WhatsApp group page, where there are a lot of fireworks. We learn, we share jobs, we interact, we share ideas and all those things. So in fact, if you are gay and then you have learned your stuff, most likely in a month or 2, you should get a job because the postings will come. That is the deal. We don't give jobs directly, but by virtue of what we have done in the past, and by God's grace, if people need data analysts, they come through Finex, right? In rare cases, would I choose people? But I normally put it out there for everybody to apply. People go through aptitude tests. If you get it, you get it, right? So please, we want our students to succeed, but meet us halfway to make their job easier. Are we on the same page? So this concludes the entire presentation on the orientation. The idea is to help you clear all the doubts, get all the answers to your questions, so that you are ready for day one. So for the Saturday class, day one will be next week Saturday. For the weekday class, day one will be 28th, which is Monday evening 5:30. Okay, so I'm done. Now, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you. So, Martin, yes, please go ahead. If you are talking, you're muted. We can't hear you. Otherwise, Christopher, please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Martin, go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I was saying that I've subscribed to Microsoft 365. I'm on
Okay.
the monthly plan, but unfortunately, I don't have the full package. I don't know if it's only for those who are signing up to the annual plan.
Okay, so the question is, you are signed up to Microsoft 365. Now,
Yes.
for you to know whether you are signed up with Microsoft 365, you can go to File. Okay, if you open Excel, you can go to File, Account. Okay, and then here you see your subscription type. Okay, so if you open any of the apps, you will see your subscription type. So I have Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise. Office 365 is also there. Home.
Okay,
The
so
home
what
is-
I have is just Microsoft 365.
And then you are fine. What you need to do is just check with your IT guy whether Copilot is enabled for you. Okay. So otherwise, you are good to go with whatever you are going to do. Try this for me. For those who normally are on the 365, functions like unique, right, equal to unique, equal to filter should easily pop up. Okay, so if you are using 365, you can test with these functions: unique, filter, X lookup. Right, these are 2019 version functions, but they are present. In fact, what we are going to do, if you have 2016 upwards, you should be fine. 2016, 2019, 2021, there's now 2024 desktop. But if you have Office 365 too, it's better. So don't feel left out if you are not able to come along. Like I said, we'll use the free ChatGPT version and Excel, and Power BI is also free. Let me also show you how to download Power BI while I'm here. So you go to your Windows, sorry, it should be Microsoft Store, not Windows Store. So Microsoft Store, the basket icon. When you come here, you just look for Power BI desktop, right? So please, you should get this installed before your first class on Monday or Saturday, right? So you click and then it downloads. So before you come to class, it should be ready. That's all you need to do. That's all the installation you need. Okay, Martin, I hope I've answered your question. Okay, Chris. Okay, Emmanuel says he joined the class late. Yes, we'll share the playback videos with you. So this one that you have done, we'll share the playback recording on our YouTube page, so you can go and then access it. Okay, so yes, Constance, please go ahead.
Yes, Bernard, thank you. So I think behind the class, I had a discussion with you. You asked me to remind you today so you could work on it. The second issue is for those of us who registered for one program but wish to switch, Is that possible now, or we need to alert you to, so that in giving us the code, you give us the code that will take us to the updated classrooms?
Okay, we are flexible. So if you registered for Excel only, you want to do Power BI now, we can make the adjustments. So in the end, it means if you are getting one code, you are getting two. We'll make that adjustment and send it to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
So that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Emmanuel. Hi, Emmanuel. Please go ahead. Okay, I'll go to Nana Kwesi Asari.
Yes, Bernard. So I have a question. The Google Classroom, I checked the website and I'm yet to join a class. So I wanted to find out whether we'll be given a code to join or we are yet to be set up.
Yes. So the code will be sent to you. So once you put in the code, you'll see your class pop up. So the codes will be sent to you and that will generate the class for you. So if you have not joined us before, you won't see any class. That one is expected. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Augustine.
Hello.
Yeah.
So my question is that those of us who are yet to register, can we go ahead and do the registration?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Registration is still open. So
Okay.
let's do it in time and then settle in quickly and then start learning. So it's still open. Okay.
Okay, sure. Hope you share the registration link after this.
Yes, the registration link is on our website. So finexskillshub.com. Okay, so if you come to finexskillshub.com, then you just click on apply now. That's all.
Okay.
So finexskillshub.com, apply now. Okay. I have Imano, you can hear me now.
Okay, Mr. Bernard, good morning. Yes,
What is
I
that?
wanted to add a little submission on the ChatGPT, especially the 4.0. So
Okay.
even though we are all a bit relaxed when it comes to the data, breach of data issues and all that, I think the 4.0, when you subscribe to the 4.0 itself, it gives you more privileges. For example, you can create your own chats to suit your company, where you put in information about your company, and then it's something you create aside the normal ChatGPT. So when you put information about your company there, anything that you don't understand, when anybody walks in and wants further clarification on one or two things, the person can chat with that particular chat and then get all the information. So when you're creating such instances, it tells you that yes, they're not going to use your information for anything. So for companies that do a lot of automation and all that, I think it's a good aspect for you to delve into. You purchase the license and then it gives you the right to create your own chats where you can enable AI and then embed into your daily operations. So that's one aspect of the 4.0. That is if people want to go into it. That's the little I'm looking at.
Fantastic submission. So just to reiterate what Emmanuel said, for the 4.0, you are allowed to create your own GPTs, they call it. Okay, you can define where it gets the data from, how it answers questions, where it learns from, and all those things, and then even deploy it to your organization, right? So, in fact, if you are concerned and you want to limit or restrict certain things, in the creation of the GPT, you can put in all these parameters, right? That's essentially what he's saying. The thing is that these things will become the norm. The earlier, the better. The fact that there are data privacy issues, just have to be careful, just with everything. So thank you, Emmanuel, for that input. Henrietta.
Okay, hi
Hi,
Bernard.
Rebecca. Yes. Please
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
I didn't get, you were asking us to log on to classroom.google. I didn't get the rest.
So it's classroom.google.com.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right, thank
Classroom.google.com.
you.
When you go there, you see this button called join. Okay, so if you come in something like this, classroom, but it's important we go through this so that when you get the code, you know what to do. So classroom.google.com. Okay, so normally when you come here, you see a join button. I used the wrong. Okay, so when you come here, you sign in and then you see a join button. And then once you put in the code, it should be fine. Okay. Isaac William Mensah, please go ahead.
Bernard, good morning.
Hi.
I just can't wait to hit a class on Monday. So, but one concern I have is, with this AI and this internet stuff, all those things, they draw their information or data from various sources across the globe, I guess in the cloud.
Yep.
Now, what I see as a danger probably is that if people decide to push in false data, false information, wrong knowledge, and all of that, can't affect what we get downstream because, like they say, garbage in, garbage out.
That's very true. You see, large language models, LLMs, rely on data. I mean, basically, started learning from the internet. So a mix of all the good and bad stuff. You remember the controversy when somebody asked for popes, and then there was a black pope and a woman and all those things. Yes, all those are challenges with these AI tools, but the human being always has the advantage to discern, because it's not everything that you should consume. Truth is that AI is also known to hallucinate. Sometimes you can even do a research for you and create laws that don't exist, right? So yes, it's true. A little bit of discernment will let you know which ones to apply and which ones not to apply. But like I said, for us and what you're going to use it for, it's nothing personal. It's just academic, right? You can limit Copilot and ChatGPT to just do the academic and professional stuff for you without getting too personal with these things. Truth is that even if you use it or you don't use it, you can't run away as long as you have online and internet access. The moment you log on online, you've given yourself away. I keep saying that if you are lying, be consistent. If you have said somewhere that you are not married, say it everywhere. Just be consistent. Please don't get too personal with this. Talking to it on personal data and all those things. They're saying if you're not even allowed, they're taking it. You are giving it for free too. But again, we are here for the knowledge academically, right? But your concern is well noted. I'll take the last question from Emmanuel, and then we'll probably hear one or two testimonies from our old students. And then they are here. They are always with us in spirit and in flesh. So, Ima, last question from you.
Yeah, all right. With those that we signed up for Power BI, I want to know whether we are going to use ChatGPT or Copilot for the class.
We'll use ChatGPT.
All right.
Yeah, we'll use ChatGPT for Power BI. Okay, so people, thank you. I'll be happy to take your questions even after class. Yes. You have a question? Okay, go ahead.
So with the presentation, let's say the PowerPoint, I asked for presentation on global one. Another person also asked the same. I'm going to have the same result.
Oh, it depends. If you add some global warming on your laptop, it will give you global warming. But you are saying, what if another person adds the same thing?
I think we have been given a skill assignment.
As we are concerned about plagiarism, here's the truth. I have not seen a situation yet. I've not seen a situation yet where it produced the same word for word. What it will do is that it will probably put things in context. But the catch here is that there are also now tools to help people know whether you wrote your stuff with ChatGPT or not. Right? As for plagiarism, I'm not sure that it can actually copy somebody's work and give it to you verbatim. Right? It can give you something close to the person's work, but not word for word. Right? Again, it comes to discernment. So even if you are using it for an academic work, please add the human touch to it. Review it and make it your own. Don't just copy, paste, and then submit. Because now people are getting very used to how these things work. They even know the language and how people have a way of even modifying it to tell it how to respond. Right? So you get two different responses. It will not copy verbatim. Yeah.
So the strategy training, one of the guys who did this, he was like, probably how it will help you is write something, do a write-up, and just paste it in AI. Let it give you the information. That will be far different from you just putting in the topic and asking like
it to do the work for you.
So you put it inside to give you some narration, then you can compare it with what you did.
That's very important. Now, normally, if I'm writing a longer report, this is how I normally approach it in a conversational way. Right? So I'm writing about this topic, financial management. Do you understand? Then it comes back, yes, I understand. Give me the outline. Right? Then you take each outline, then you go back and forth. So in the end, it's not giving you 100% work, but it's generating the key aspects of your work for you. Then you add a human being to it, and then you have a complete work. But these days, you know our students, Gen Z, they like the easy way out. But again, they are in there to help us. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. I know we spent some time here, but it's important. I'd like to acknowledge all our old students. I see all of you, Elikem, Emmanuel, Edu, Isu, Egram. So now the reason, again, we thank God for Finex is that our old students are allowed to come back. So normally when we meet like this, about a quarter of the class are old students, which is fine because every season there's something new. We are always chasing what is trending. So once you are part of the community, you are part of us for life. So in person, I see Jonathan, I see the general, Jed is also here. Okay, all these are old students, so they are here to come and support. Anas is a very old student. He went on hibernation for a long time. They are showed up here. Okay, so I don't know if maybe an old student want to give us a word or two, and then we can round up. Amy, Yvonne, Isu, anybody, so that at least you tell our experience and encourage them. Anybody game? Online.
Okay, let me.
Okay, so.
Yes, so I am Ismaba. Yes, I think I took my first course with Finex with season 8 or 9. So originally I worked in telecom. I am working like hardcore telecom core network. So after I took the course, Finance season 8, my interest, should I say, level raised. But honestly, I didn't take it seriously till last year where I pursued a certification, and God being so good, immediately I was done. A job role opened up in my company and I applied. So I'm currently working as a senior data analyst in my company. So yes, I'm happy to be here, happy to continue learning. So that's my journey so far.
Thank you, Esu. So that's Esu's journey. There are different stories that you will hear. I prayed for same for you. That if you come in as mid-level, by the time you are done, you are now a senior data analyst, or a role has been created for you by force. Okay. So thank you so much. We'll make the playback video available on our YouTube channel. Finex Skills Hub. While you are here, you can probably pay us a visit, and then look for Finex Skills Hub. Please subscribe so that you can get notifications. Okay, so over there you'll see a lot of the videos. We are happy to teach for free. So even here, you can go and practice some of the Power BI case studies. There's a full playlist on Power BI. We keep updating that, Excel dashboards and all those things. So look for Finex Skills Hub, subscribe, and then you'll get a notification. God willing, we'll post the playback video here as well. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us, and let's connect after the class. Have a good weekend.
Taking my data guy.
Thank you, Bernard.
Wow, okay. If somebody says, I'm taking his data guy from his office, now he has to come and learn to replace him. Okay, it's welcome, but it's a good development for you. Okay, so guys, thank you, and then we'll connect. So we'll see you when we see you for the first class. Have a good weekend.
Cheers, yeah, bye.